1 of the SEC on ESPN. We are on the campus of the Florida Gators on senior night. And several have made a huge impact over their careers here. Some for a couple of years, some for 4. And a huge game tonight. LSU trying to win the conference, and the Florida Gators trying to secure a spot in the NCAA tournament. Top 3 in the SEC. Tennessee a winner last night. They hammered Mississippi State. They look like they're playing as good as they have all year. LSU 14-2. Kentucky a winner last night on the road at Ole Miss 14-3. Happy to be joined by Andy Kennedy. I'm Carl Ravitch. Welcome everyone. Huge game for both teams for very different reasons.
Definitely, as you said, Carl, Gators home game, senior night. Had won 5 straight prior to losing to Georgia on Saturday. Big bounce back opportunity for them and a quad 1 opportunity for LSU. They're chasing an SEC championship.
9-0 on the road. If they get a win, no one's ever done that in school history. 25 wins, their most since 08-09. They play with a little chip on their shoulder. Listen to Will Wade. There's only one other team in the country that has more quad 1 wins than they do, and yet they're ranked 10th. They think they should be a little higher. This will be a big test tonight on the road at Florida. And we saw this same matchup a couple of weeks ago. The Gators on the road at LSU won it in overtime.
We talked about it in the open, Carl. Florida has been LSU's kryptonite, so to speak. Differing styles of play. It'll be important early for LSU to establish their tempo, most especially on the road.
Javonte Smart has started at point guard the last couple of games. Tremont Waters not starting again. Smart's been great. That long 3, no good. One thing Will Wade said, and we'll really focus on it on the offensive end, they have a hard time getting into their offense against the 1-2-2 zone of Florida.
Yeah, you saw it was a good defensive possession initially by Florida, forced a deep shot at the end of clock. Their problem, Carl, has been on this end of the floor. They have not been as efficient offensively as Mike White would like. The senior stepping up on senior night.
Davon Allen had a big game in that win in overtime. 12 of his 21 came in the overtime in Baton Rouge. And he is one of the 3 seniors, Jalen Hudson and Kavarius Hayes, who have made an impact on the floor that are playing tonight.
And you see Jalen Hudson got the start. I assume that's because it's senior night over Noah Locke. Tremont Waters, who we expect to play his normal minutes, does not get in the starting lineup. But if I'm Will Wade, if it's not broke, don't fix it, the way they've been playing.
No doubt. LSU's missed a couple of threes.
And here's what they're going to do, just like they did in the first outing. Score early, score late, nothing in transition. Now move the ball, score late in the clock.
Johnson, he'll fire. That's right on the mark, and what a start for the Gators.
That's textbook. 2 on the shot clock. Obviously, Cavante much more comfortable on the perimeter than Naz Reid, who was defending him. Welcome sight, knocking it in.
Wonder when they'll start trying to get the ball down low. They have a big height advantage. They've settled for a couple of threes. That time, Javonte Smart drives.
There's your guy, bucket maker. Makes hard shots look easy. He can play through contact. Gets LSU on the board.
They're going to get Taylor with a grab. It's funny as Tremont Waters gets set to come in. Javonte Smart, similar to what Emmanuel Quickly has done at Kentucky, when he's on the floor, you realize, wow, he and Higgins are a little closer than maybe you think. Smart has reminded everybody he can play the game just like Waters.
He's a really dynamic player who, in Tremont Waters' absence, has really picked up his production. Jalen Hudson with a bad closeout there, closed out a little long. Javonte Smart's going to make you pay.
Almost 22 a game in his last 3, so they bring Waters in. Smart stays on the floor. Skylar Mays goes out. And one thing Waters does, he's the depth on defense. There's the first steal, and right away the drive, the Euro step, and Bigby Williams will kick it back out.
You notice what Florida did. As soon as Waters got in the game, they tried to post Nembhard. Waters with a great steal off the initial pass.
See that screen Naz Reid set? Absolutely sent Jalen Hudson to the floor. He ran into a wall, which allowed the easy layup. There's Hayes on the alley-oop. Nice catch.
Great catch. Great catch by the senior. Andrew Nembhard put it right where it needed to be, where only Kavarius Hayes could make a play. You see every time Florida scores, going to get back in that zone pressure, then they match up man-to-man, just trying to occupy time. It seems every shot, Carl, to this point by both teams has been under 10 in the shot clock. Tempo advantage, Florida.
Good defense that time by Hayes on Naz Reid, who tried a spin move. And he walked.
Nembhard knows it. He said, that's my bad, and he's 100% right. Don't put your big man in that position. Put him in an uncomfortable spot. Those big guys are not used to having to make decisions there.
Marlon Taylor goes to the bench, Andy, and Skylar Mays back in.
Again, passive pressure, extra pass. This kid's been playing well. Skylar Mays had a little bit of a shooting slump from an efficiency standpoint early in league play, but has really picked it up over the last 2 weeks.
Hudson, that one's short. So we're in a little shooting contest, and no one has yet been really hot. This time Mays drives the baseline, and they threw an ill-advised pass.
Great job by Florida. Everybody getting to the level of the ball so you can run through those passes just like Cavante did there.
Mays almost had the steal, but it went out of bounds. 7-4 Florida. They're on top early, looking for that big win to get them into the tournament.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by the Chick-fil-A Egg White Grill. It's the little things that jumpstart your morning. And Marriott Bonvoy. Rewards reimagined.
Champ Week begins Friday on the networks of ESPN.
One of the great weeks of the year, Champ Week. Looking forward to the SEC tournament in Nashville. If the season ended today, it would look like this. A handful of games going on in conference, including Arkansas. They are playing Vanderbilt later tonight on the SEC network. Missouri leading Georgia right now on the SEC network. Of course, it was Georgia coming off of a win in which a lot of folks were surprised Florida lost that game. The Gators had won 5 in a row, and Georgia beat them. Claxton was great in that game.
They've been really close. You know, they'd had 4 or 5 games beating Georgia, and they finally broke through. With Florida, you're always going to play in relatively low possession games, which gives both teams opportunities.
You with me as that ball is kicked, that if Florida wins this game, it ends any conversation about the bubble.
It's a lock.
They're going to win.
And I'm not talking Noah. It's a lock. I think if they get this one, without question, they're in, and they're in comfortably. If they could go win in Rupp, they're in comfortably. Anything other than that, you may go into Bridgestone Arena with some unfinished business, depending on what happens throughout the rest of the country.
I agree with you. Take a look at the resume for the Florida Gators. Resume is associated usually with a job application. In this case, it's a tournament application. 17-12. You see where they are in the SEC. And there's so many teams that could basically finish between 4th and 9th. Joe's got them as a 9 seed, Joe Lenardi. 3-9 against quad 1 teams, so they've got 3 wins against them. You play in a conference like the SEC, and you get some wins, you're going to get some quad 1 wins.
No doubt, and you get a lot of opportunities. There's going to be a lot of opportunities moving forward. For them, their metrics look really good. Strength of schedule, off the chart. They have put themselves in position to play meaningful basketball in the month of March.
There's Naz Reid with the offensive rebound and putback off of the miss from Smart.
First time LSU's been able to get out in transition, got a ball on the rim pretty quickly, and LSU is as good as there is in college basketball at rebounding their own misses. They get almost 40%, which is off the chart good.
A couple of turnovers for the Gators. Dante Bassett into the game for the Gators.
You can see here turnovers lead to fast break opportunities. That guy's always going to be aggressive, gets it on the rim. His freshman cohort, Naz Reid, those two kids are both up for freshman of the year in this league. I think it's going to be Naz Reid, maybe Tyler Hero, really whoever finishes the season strong. But both those kids have been dynamic in their first year in Baton Rouge.
Bigby Williams, he lost it, and a turnover for LSU.
Both teams a little sloppy early. That's 4 apiece in the first 5 minutes of the game. Great penetration right there.
Defended at the rim, Bigby Williams, and now we're getting a foul. I think they're going to call it on Naz Reid. It's a good conversation last night. Tyler Hero he took that game over. I mean, it was Hero and Johnson, but boy, when he's in the open floor,
has he been good?
He's hard to stop.
He's really been efficient, off the charts efficient for a true freshman. In the pressure cooker that is Kentucky basketball, for that kid to play the way that he has, pretty impressive.
He's taken over 50 free throws. He's missed 2.
Yeah, pretty impressive. He did not play well in the Thompson Bowling Arena in their loss to Tennessee, but other than that, I cannot remember in league play where he did not show up and perform in a big way for Cal and the Wildcats.
So a Locke's free throw, good.
Here comes that pressure. Passive pressure, you'll notice the second line very rarely comes up. They're just trying to keep you in front and keep the ball out of the middle of the floor. Now they'll match up, but you better match up with that kid.
Boy, Waters had that slip off his fingers, and it still rolled around and in for him.
He hasn't played in better part of 10 days. You could tell he got a little pop in his legs.
He does.
He's got a second wind and feeling pretty good, anxious, exploded by everybody in white.
Locke. He knocks it down. Good start for Florida. Shooting-wise, they've been hot from the field. About 67% so far, 4 of 6.
If you remember in Baton Rouge a few weeks ago, about 10 days, 2 weeks when we were doing the game, Noah Locke hit the big one to kind of get Florida over the hump, get that thing to overtime where Kevon Allen took over.
So I talked to Will Wade before the game, and I asked him, I said, so why is it so hard to play against Florida? What are the challenges Florida presents? Because he used words like gritty and grimy. There's a lot of that around.
Sure.
Why Florida affect this team so much?
You know what? I think size-wise, look, I mean, you're talking about 2 completely different teams as it relates to their physical makeup. Florida's basically playing 4 guards around 1, spacing, trying to get those bigs on the perimeter. We've already saw it early with Naz Reid, and then that's what LSU's got to do. Don't settle. Get that thing at the basket where you have a decisive advantage.
Yeah, and Andy, that was defense, the big block that led to a good Javonte Smart penetration and a Big B Williams dunk. 1-point game, Florida on top 11-10. Will Wade looking to go 15-2 and 9-0 on the road. In only a second season as LSU head coach, Will Wade has put together quite a resume, especially this season. And it's stunning to think that they have not lost a game on the road in conference. And Andy, you're as familiar with anybody as there is with this conference. That's impossible almost.
It's impossible. You know, when they have flirted with danger a number of times, but they've made the plays that are necessary in order to win. You know what that does? It sets you up to have a special season. What's a special season? An SEC championship season, and that's exactly what LSU has set themselves up for.
They are in a great spot to win a championship, if not be tied for the top spot with Tennessee.
I think they've got to do it on that end. When they're really locked in defensively, they're as good as anybody in college basketball because they have so many weapons offensively. Good spacing here, good extra pass. I like the fact that they're driving the basketball, not settling. Smart to read again.
Very different approach. One thing that Coach Wade did say is when Florida's defense is right, they frustrate you. You can't ever get into your offense. Last couple of trips down, they've gotten into their offense.
They've been on attack mode, I think.
Yes, they have.
You know,
Saturday's the last weekend of the regular season. 2 of the best games. You'll find them right on ESPN. 6 Eastern time. How about Duke and North Carolina? This time in Chapel Hill. And we'll see about Zion Williamson. There doesn't appear to be a big momentum push to get you to believe he's going to play in that one. 8 Eastern time, the Big Ten race continues. Michigan and Michigan State. Both games stream live on the ESPN app so you can watch anywhere. All right, so how do you balance this, my friend? How do you balance a Zion injury? How do you balance a Reed Travis injury with conference championships or seeding in your conference tournament versus we got to win the whole thing in March? We got to wait.
They're trying to make sure that the kids are fully healthy first and foremost, which is in the best interest of the players. Also, they want to make sure they don't bring them back where it could be something reoccurring because, quite frankly, you don't have enough time for a reoccurring injury. For me, if I'm coaching, I would get a little nervous when you get to a one-and-done scenario for them coming back for the first time. Because let's be honest, as good as those 2 kids are, most especially Zion Williamson, he hadn't played in a minute. So it's going to be a little bit of rust. It's going to be a little bit of a timing issue. So you're going to have a game or so to kind of get back into a rhythm.
Yeah, he's so unique. I wonder if it takes him about half of a half to get back into it. Seriously.
Yeah, but timing is such, though. You know, basketball, you can only simulate so much in walk through or on the side conditioning. You need the 5-on-5 action. And here's a kid with not a lot of experience, obviously a true freshman. I think Reed Travis, it's a little different because he's got over 100 games under his belt.
Yep.
And his game is differently. Kentucky desperately needs him, though, because we've seen it since he's been out.
What a difference.
Teams can stack the floor and not allow P.J. Washington to be as effective because without Reed in there, they're really not playing those other bigs with the same type of attention.
Yep. The last couple of games, P.J. has gotten in foul trouble, and it has been a challenge for Kentucky with Richards and E.J. Montgomery.
You talked about matchup issues. I mean, look at Florida's spacing. They've got 5 guys outside the 3. Again, they've got to make shots because that's who they are. They're not going to power drive through you. Nembhard can play over the top because of his size. But this is all about their spacing and their ability to make the right play and cash it in at the end.
We got a foul on Keontae Johnson. All right, you got LSU, Florida, the SEC, a power in basketball. But it pales in comparison to what the SEC conference has in store in baseball. We'll play catch with the head coach of the Gators after this. Explain to me what the challenges are of being in the conference in which you got 11 teams in the top 25.
Well, it's a challenge every week. I mean, a lot of times, obviously everybody's very talented, but it's a matter of, it's not who you're playing, it's when you're playing them. In terms of injuries, and teams get hot, teams get cold.
Right.
But this year especially, I mean, we've never had 11 teams in the top 25 ever.
You got schools with brand names like Florida, like Vanderbilt, like LSU playing basketball here this evening. LSU in baseball. For these guys that knew about them but never dealt with them, how do you manage the pressures, the expectations of playing schools that everybody knows about?
Well, I think the thing that separates this league more than any other league, other than maybe the top end talent, is playing in front of 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12,000 people every weekend. You know, that's an experience you really can't, emulate and practice. I mean, it's just one of those things that they just got to kind of figure out on their own.
Well, what do you tell them? You got to breathe? Like, how do you get them to play, to exist, and to compete?
I don't know. I mean, especially for our team this year, we're so young. There's so many firsts, opening the season, first college game. Then we go down to USF and play our first road game. And then we have our first couple midweek games. And then obviously coming up, we open up Mississippi State at home. It's the first SEC series for a lot of these players.
Right.
Then the next week, we got to go to Vandy.
You see deer in headlight look after these guys?
Yeah, you do a lot, but it's one of those things. Hopefully the learning curve is short.
Deer in headlight look. You got 11 teams in the top 25. It's mind-blowing.
Pretty amazing.
In the top 25. Kayvon Allen throws up a left-handed runner, no good. Offensive rebound contested, and Hayes missed everything.
While we were watching your arm strength, Carl, LSU with a great inline out-of-bounds play for Darius Days, and then Darius Days with a big defensive rebound.
Mays misses. You take a look just to harp on that point about the top 25 teams. Vanderbilt's moved to number 1. LSU they lost a few. They're 9th in the country. Florida is 6th. You'll be able to see Florida FSU next Wednesday on ESPN Plus right now. The Gators baseball program losing to Florida Gulf Coast 5-0. But the last 5 games for Kevin O'Sullivan's team, they've scored 75 runs. That's a lot of runs, as you know.
That is a lot of runs. And you know what else? LSU's doing a lot of driving to the basket.
Different than the game we saw.
They have not settled. They're doing a great job of getting it to the rim where they have a big size advantage.
Nembhard picks up his second. He'll go to the bench.
That's problematic. He's their guy. He's their quarterback. He has the ball in his hands probably 80% of the time for the Gators.
Second free throw good. Boy, it is such a coach's benefit to have somebody like Skylar Mays on the floor. He's a brainiac.
Up for Scholar Athlete of the Year. He's a 4.0 pre-med. Pretty impressive.
That's why I threw the brainiac adjective out there.
Yeah, I see. You've done your homework.
Johnson with a drive. Got a little screen, so it was an easy layup for him. And it pulls him within 2.
Florida had missed their last 5 field goals prior to that strong drive. Big basket there by Johnson.
That's Tremont Waters at his best. Couple of dribbles, shakes off the defender, and knocks down the jumper.
He's been impressive. He's been impressive early. He was impressive defensively when Nembhard tried to post him. He gets the steal. He goes down, makes a big open floor layup, and then that's vintage Tremont Waters. Dribble, dribble, pull up, score.
Tough pass, and that one's picked. Darius Days from nearby Raleigh, Florida, just outside of Gainesville. I know the pace is to Florida's liking, but LSU's playing themselves a good game so far.
No question. Good decision there by Waters. Good clean look. This is where Florida's really got a battle. Right there, Marlon Taylor, size advantage. One of the most athletic guys in the league. This is what we're talking about. When he gets it going like this was him pre the injury illness. Good to see that if you're a Tiger fan, because in order for LSU to make a deep run, not only in Nashville but in the NCAA tournament, number 3 needs to play like an All-American candidate that he is.
You can see what Florida is giving up as Waters buries a 3. He's 3 of 3, and boy, when LSU gets that type of production from Tremont Waters, they are dangerous.
They go to another level.
Yeah,
Paul.
they do.
They just go to another level. They're an elite team when he plays like an elite player, and that's exactly how he was playing prior to the injury.
He's got 7. Kayvon Allen, that ball was deflected, picks it back up, then gets banged. That'll either be on Days or Williams. They'll call it on Emmett Williams. Take a look at Tremont Waters, who now has 7 in 8 minutes of action.
Yeah, this is a hard play right here, my friend. Deep off the catch, NBA 3, confident, shoots it in. And the camera didn't see it, but he's right in front of us. He kind of gave himself a little fist pump. It's good for him to get back into rhythm.
So you think about it, Travis has been out for Kentucky, but if you were to look around the conference and go into the conference tournament and say, okay, the least, let's say, I guess the least expendable guy on the team, each team, Tremont Waters for LSU. If you really want to win the whole thing, is it Waters like it is with Grant Williams in Tennessee, like it probably is with PJ in Kentucky?
I'm going to shock you with this answer. I think Tremont Waters is very, very valuable. And I just said if he's playing the way that he was prior to being out the last few games, then LSU, again, I think they will be a handful for anybody they play in the NCAA tournament. But I think the MVP, the one guy they cannot win without, is Kavell Bigby Williams.
Really?
I think he brings them such a presence inside.
Whoa!
Oh, wow.
That's your guy, Marlon Taylor. And it looked like he could have thrown an alley-oop to either Reed or Taylor.
He just kind of hung in the air. I didn't think the pass from a timing standpoint was perfect.
It was going over the backboard.
Wow. Is that guy athletic?
But the impact Waters is having is tangible early on. Look at Taylor go up and get that.
Here they go again, playing at their pace. Look at that pass.
Ooh.
Little ill-advised. Big Nas running. Not quite enough room to gather it. But look at this pass. Holy cow. Just kind of throw it up there. Not great execution. That kid's just going to make a play.
Reed is under there. He's wondering, is that for me? Oh, no. I got Marlon behind me.
What's going on here? Noah Locke's thinking, holy cow.
23-16. In spite of the fact Florida's got it at the tempo they want, it's been much more of an LSU-style game. A lot of dunks and a lot of penetration.
LSU's killed them in the paint, Carl. 14-4 early by plays such as that. Playing over the top, not settling on the perimeter in attack mode.
Yeah, Waters has been outstanding as Taylor picks up his second. Waters, last game, he had 5 points. He played 24 minutes. He's coming off, as you appropriately described it, injury/illness.
Right.
And tonight he's got 7 points in 9 minutes. What are you getting at there?
Well, I think he's just playing with a little more pop, a little more sense of urgency. You know, sometimes when you're in the grind of the season and you're forced to sit out a couple of games, you start missing it again.
Yep.
And it looks to me like he's really anxious to come out here and be a difference maker in this game. He has certainly done that early.
The same way that Calipari would have loved to see Nick Richards or E.J. Montgomery kind of really pick up the slack for the injured Travis. Javonte Smart did that. He literally did that for LSU when Waters was out.
Javonte Smart, you can just tell he thinks he's the best player on the floor every game. He goes out and he tries to make plays, and boy, did he deliver in a big-time way when Tremont was out. Tremont's a guy that was getting 18 a game in league play, and Javonte Smart and Skylar Mays collectively certainly took up that slack and continued to push this Tiger team towards the finish line.
Nas Reed just picked up his second, so Emmett Williams is going to come in for Reed. Amazing how many games we have seen LSU play and Nas Reed start slowly in the first half. Right now he's got 4. He'll go to the bench. Who knows if he comes back with the 2 fouls and 8-11. But he'll end up with 15 to 20 points and 12 rebounds.
Ho hum, right? I think he's had a tremendous freshman year, and he's gotten a lot better once we've got deeper into conference play.
LSU has located a guy in the corner. That pass was picked off. And Allen steps right into a 3. Not a great shot.
No, that's your senior trying to make a play. Kayvon has struggled a bit shooting the ball as of late in this building. Certainly tonight, he hopes he can change that. He'd like to see it go in like that if you're Mike White and Kayvon Allen. Tremont Waters coming in and making a difference early in this game.
We're back 23-18. LSU leading Florida. Now you can see the plan of attack for the Tigers. Get that ball inside.
No question, off the bounce or off the pass. They've done it all night. Up 16-4 in the paint. They're shooting 63% from the field because they're getting high-quality looks. The way Florida is staying in the game is LSU also has 7 turnovers. That's been problematic for them somewhat. When they have over 15 turnovers, it obviously cuts down on their offensive efficiency. If they can limit the turnovers, Carl, the way they're shooting the ball, the way they're attacking inside, the way they have a decisive size advantage at the rim, that's the recipe for Tiger success.
16-4, the big numbers there. You can see that in the 3 blocks. That's certainly been a factor. 2 turnovers for Waters, 2 for Mays, 2 for Bigby Williams. He's back in the game.
Good split. Good
Great
lob.
split, alley-oop. Tough catch and a bucket. Wow. Great body control, and how about that catch by Emmett Williams?
They've just got a lot of guys that can go get it. I think they're the most athletic team in the SEC. Watch this. Split, lob. Cavante is a monster athlete himself. He didn't even know Emmett Williams was behind him. Tough catch, tough finish. Wow. LSU's got dudes.
Yeah, they do, and more points in the paint.
That would be 18-4. Working on 19. Great start by LSU. I love their approach early. And I don't think Florida's nearly as effective in their half-court offense without Andrew Nembhard.
No question about it. That's a big one, and one they're going to need from Noah Locke tonight. Pulls him within 5. Points in the paint in the first game. LSU 38, Florida 34. Williams just hangs in the air and kisses it off the window.
This is the Tremont Waters show early, Carl Ravitch. I think he's hearing all this Player of the Year talk, of which he was at the head of the class a few weeks ago, and he said, hey, don't forget about me. Kid's a dominant player, and he's playing that way tonight.
21 points in the paint. 21 already. Bigby Williams denies it, and a 3-on-2 break for LSU.
This kid here is going to go try to make a play. We've seen this before.
And then Williams gets hit, and he gets another one. 2 more points in the paint for LSU, and they are owning the inside.
I told you, in my opinion, the most valuable player for LSU is that guy right there, Cavell Bigby Williams. He does so much that allows LSU's playmakers to get out and do this. They are tremendous off the offensive glass. Best in the SEC, one of the best in the country. And they've got multiple bodies. They can just continue to come at you. Emmett Williams, great start for this freshman.
A little strong with that free throw.
A Floridian. You know, he's a Floridian.
Fort Myers.
He's probably got a couple people here to see him.
So they started 2 of 6. What were they doing in the beginning of the game? LSU shooting threes.
That's right.
Since then, 11 of 14.
Everything is at the basket, which is exactly as it should be Florida late in the clock. Great duck in there by Kavarius Hayes. You got to finish that, but he gets his own.
And he missed them both.
He's never been a great low post scorer, but he has played better efficiently around the basket. 2 big misses there.
Ooh, Emmett Williams was met by a couple of bodies, including Kavarius Hayes. We'll get the foul on Hayes, and to the free throw line goes LSU. Final weekend of the regular season. You got to see Duke and North Carolina one more time. 6 o'clock Eastern time as the Blue Devils will head to Chapel Hill trying to avenge that ugly loss to Carolina. And then 8 o'clock Eastern time, the race for the Big Ten title continues. Shocker, Michigan and Michigan State both in that conversation. Both games streamed live on the ESPN app. You can watch anywhere. Nick Ward comes back for Michigan State. They become a national championship type team. LSU's lead is 10. Now, it's a lot easier for LSU to come from behind given their efficiency and proficiency in offense. It's a big challenge when the Gators get down, Andy, to rally from behind.
Well, they're just not built that way. You see Mike's going to Nembhard because he knows the game can get away from you. 11-point game, big offensive possession. Even with 2, you got to go with your floor general and hope to get some offense in your half court.
That's a good take, and a little reverse layup falls for Jalen Hudson.
You know, we got him going. The last game against LSU, he had 12 big first half points, had an SEC high 15, and from that point forward, the last 4 games, he's averaging over 14 points per game, which is the Jalen Hudson that everybody in Gatorland expected.
Boy, Emmett Williams continues to be active and very good on the offensive glass. He kept that one alive.
High ball screen. Make you dance. Good job by Florida switching these ball screens, not giving up any advantage.
Smart miss. Good defense that time by Florida.
Big stop. You got to string together some stops, and then you got to cash them in on this end with good offensive possessions.
Locke trying to take advantage of his height with Tremont Waters, and now it's Hayes one-on-one with Bigby Williams. He's going to get the foul on 11. That's Bigby Williams' first tonight.
And he's going to get to the free throw line. Kavarius Hayes at 71% in league play. Needs to try to cash in. You know, in the first game, LSU is one of the best free throw shooting teams in the SEC. At about 78% in league play. They really struggled, if you remember, in Baton Rouge. Shot about 62%.
Short-term memory still okay. I remember. That was like 2 weeks ago.
That's right.
When you start stretching it out past that, we could
do a lot of games, you know. It kind of
they all blur.
They kind of all blur in. What gate are you at? And going through Atlanta. Where's my rental car?
Why does the headlights smashed in on the rental-car?
Yeah, what's going on?
I didn't do that. Room number today. I did go back and say, am I in 324 or 234? I forget where I am. I had to.
Not only did I give you the tip about the wrinkle release on the shirts, I always, first thing I do when I check in the hotel room, I'll take a picture of my door so I can't forget the room number.
Veteran play. Yeah, you gotta
as the rookie tells the guy who's been doing this 25 years.
You got to get some stock in that spray stuff for your clothes.
Big believer.
Takes wrinkles out.
Big believer in that. Big stop right here. Again, we're under 10, but there's that guy with that ball.
Alley-oop, and Bigby Williams almost jumped a little early, it looked like.
I thought Tremont could have taken that himself. Maybe degree of difficulty a little much. And now Florida's got a chance to string together 3 offensive possessions in a row where they get production.
Well, you get in there and you realize Bigby Williams is protecting the rim. You're reluctant to shoot.
Mike White, all shoot around, talks about playing off 2 feet, and Florida does a very good job of that. Good jump stop by Noah Locke. Led to an open look for Jalen Hudson.
Did Hudson throw his leg out there to cause that contact with Waters?
I think he might have certainly done a little whirl be free back in the day. Remember the old scissor shot?
That wasn't so egregious. I mean, Waters did run into him.
He's in his frame. You have to have the ability to come down. And Jalen Hudson has a little side shimmy to his jumper.
He's got the black and white cookie shoes, too.
He's got a lot going on, man. I like him. I like him. Florida, Brand Jordan, big fan of that.
Hudson, the transfer from Virginia Tech.
He's had a good run. He struggled this year, but he's coming on at the end, which is the perfect time. If you're Coach White and the Florida Gators, they need this guy to be productive. You know, you ask yourself, what is the formula for Florida to have success? I know in the 80s you were probably a big fan of Digital Underground. Remember Digital Underground?
Are you kidding me?
Remember the song they had, All Around the World, same song? Well, it's the same song for Florida. Score early, score late, defend, make the other team have to earn everything, and then fight your face off the glass because you were outsized up front. In that band, I think you would be you could be Money B. I'd be Shock G. Remember Shock G, Money B? Neither one of us are cool enough to be Tupac. That's where Tupac started. Full of knowledge over here, Carl.
I'm just letting you go. There's a whole. It's like this is Behind the Music with Andy Kennedy.
All around the world, same song. That's the Gators.
That story went all around the world.
It didn't it?
It sure did. More work on the offensive glass for LSU. The lead back to 7, and it ended a 6-0 run for Florida. Ballard contested, doesn't get that roll.
Quick shot. Quick shot, which is going to lead to LSU in transition. But Florida, as good as there is, of building a wall and trying to stay in front of Tremont Waters. LSU turns it over for the 9th time this half, keeping the Gators in it.
Yeah, they are. Waters dribbled that one right into a bevy of bodies underneath, and he just got lost in there.
Now, if you're Florida, you've got to get ball reversal. The ball is sticking a little bit. Good penetration to pitch. That's the shot you got to live with.
Yep.
And if you're going to beat LSU, obviously, Ballard's got to knock that down.
Yeah, Ballard was wide open with that one. The first one contested, that time wide open. LSU's going to call a timeout here with 2:48 to go and a 7-point lead. Feels like they could be leading by about 17, but it's only 7 as Florida hangs around on its home floor on senior night.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Voya Financial, helping you to and through retirement. Learn more at Voya.com.
I knew Farnham was going right there. As soon as you went into Digital Underground, I knew that perked him up.
I knew that woke him up. I mean, that was back in the day, senior prom. He was rocking that at UCLA. Those are good songs for me. I got a lot done during that era.
Give me the AK quick rundown Nashville. Like you got your spots there?
Oh, yeah, but I mean, that is not for public consumption. You got to have a passcode. It's like
where in the world?
It's like a
is Andy
speakeasy.
Kennedy?
You got to have a passcode, go through a phone booth. We'll eventually get there.
Looking forward to seeing everybody at the SEC tournament.
Is it going to be exciting?
It really is going
to
be
really
exciting.
Is. You know, every year it's competitive, but this year, wow, we're going to have great basketball.
I think it's fascinating that South Carolina is currently in the 4th spot, not even sniffing the NCAA tournament. And yet they're the 4th seed, which gets them a double bye in the SEC tournament.
It's incredible what Frank Martin's done, and he won't win Coach of the Year, but he should certainly get some recognition for the job he's done with that team. Incredible. With the injuries they've had, how they've battled back. They're sitting on 10 SEC wins, Carl.
A little lack of awareness from LSU,
agree.
huh?
I agree. I think they might
out of a timeout.
They might have been listening to me sing as opposed to listening to Coach Wade. That'll distract you.
Kevon Allen using his dribble.
You got to score that, son. There it is.
No good. Then there's the offensive rebound and putback. And they're going to need a little bit more of that from Bassett and Ballard tonight.
Gators down 11. He goes back with Nembhard. You see now he's taking him out. He bought some time, but Florida answered. Cut this thing back to a 2-possession game. No Tremont Waters, so they'll go through Javonte Smart.
Braves into the game for the first time here with 90 seconds to go in the first half. That's offensive. Bigby Williams trying to clear a path by extending that right arm of his.
And that's going to be his second. So now he and Nas both have 2, but it looks like Nas is going to come in for Bigby Williams. Great job of initially stepping back and creating the proper angle. Carl, defense is all about 2 things, effort and angles. Florida gives great effort right there. Kavarius Hayes with a great angle, taking it through his chest. Another big stop for Florida.
5 different players for LSU with 2 fouls each.
Little triple screen for Noah Locke. He is good at this. He's not great off the bounce. He's been hobbled all year with a bit of a hip injury. But catch and shoot, he's as good as there is in this gym.
Kayvon Allen's going to have to do it himself, and that's a tough one.
It's an impossible one.
But the offensive rebound to Locke.
50-50 balls. Keep balls alive. LSU, great on their offensive glass, not as great on their defensive glass.
Hudson, tough 3. They've taken a couple contested one. Mays went up. Hayes grabbed the ball. They call that a jump ball, and it will stay with Florida. So the last 2
How about that?
50-50 balls have gone the way of the Gators.
And now they'll be able to milk this and get it down to close to the end of the half before they have to shoot it. LSU hadn't touched the ball in about 1:10. Great effort. I didn't like either shot. I didn't like Kayvon Allen's shot, and I didn't like Jalen Hudson's shot. They've got to do more early in the clock so they don't have to bail out.
Very similar to that first meeting. Bassett launches a 3, misses everything. Kavarius Hayes puts it back up and gets fouled.
The hardest ball to defensive rebound typically is an air ball or a terribly errant shot. That's what we saw right there. I'm surprised by this shot, as I think Mike White was as well. Air ball, caroms off, right place, right time. Senior with a big play.
Reed was one of those guys that had 2 fouls. Nas Reed just picked up his 3rd. Huge. This feels a lot like that first game where the Gators hung around.
That's Florida's 15th free throw attempt in the first half. Good sign for Florida. They're also being aggressive.
10-2 run. As LSU will set up for the last shot. Waters with a take. Help at the rim and a block. Kayvon Allen will have a chance. No.
Great close of the half for the Florida Gators, though. LSU in complete control early. Florida closed strong.
20-9, they outscore them on the bench, and in the paint, they outscore them by 12. But again, that first meeting went to overtime. Gators won it. And other than the digital underground reference, it feels a lot like it did 2 weeks ago.
Hey, stay around. I've got more where that came from, America.
LSU, when leading at the half, 17-1. All right, the E-Trade halftime report is on deck. Chris Cotter, Dallin Cuff, and our studio musical expert, Sean Farney Farnham. Hope you're enjoying the SEC on ESPN, and it is Florida and LSU with the Tigers looking to match Tennessee, go to 15-2 in the conference, and if they can match Tennessee, they will have Vanderbilt at home in their final game with a chance to win their first SEC championship since 2009. This Florida team has to deal with Kentucky on Saturday, which is why that win would be so important for them tonight. Andy Kennedy, Carl Ravitch here. All sorts of the numbers skewing towards LSU, and yet here we are in a 3-point ball game.
I thought LSU came out with a great approach, up 22-10, points in the paint, attacking inside out, and this guy certainly looked like the Tremont Waters of old. A very effective 7 points, 4 assists, 2 steals in 16 minutes of action. The problem was he also had 3 turnovers. This guy was the guy that, to me, the MVP for LSU in the first half. 11 big points in 12 minutes, 6 rebounds, 3 off the offensive glass. His energy level is what gave LSU that early surge. Florida closes the half on fire, Ravi.
Yeah.
And LSU did not score in the last 3:37 of the first half.
On senior night, Hudson and Allen, 2 of the 4 seniors for Florida. Hudson and Allen combined 2 for 11, and right out of the gate, Skylar Mays takes it to the hole and adds to that points in the paint total. They now have 24, and they average 38. 3 balls short. Offensive rebound tip back, and a good job by Florida. And then Williams, I should say Smart, gets in the middle of it. It'll be LSU basketball.
Oh.
Nope. Overturned.
Yeah, we may have. I thought he pointed that way too. Maybe he said Javonte Smart tipped it out. We had a bad angle. Great hustle right there by Javonte Smart. Player making a play. Ball's loose. Looked like it was off of Javonte Smart's foot.
Yep.
Skylar Mays opens the half with his first field goal of this game. A guy that has been very, very steady offensively the last month of the season. Finally gets a basket.
Tough plays.
There he is defensively.
Hudson left his feet.
You know, it's interesting. Naz Reid, because Bigby Williams picks up his second. They went back with Naz with about 2 and change to play in the half. He picked up his third. You see, he does not draw the second half start, and he is without question their best low post scorer.
Rare outside shot for Bigby Williams. Look at Emmett Williams, though, get the offensive rebound, and he was surrounded by 3 white jerseys, and yet he comes up with it.
It was rare indeed, and I think we saw why. That thing had the velocity of that pitch you were throwing out there earlier from about 8 feet. I know Coach's son, I'm shocked he didn't tackle you. He wanted to get into that game so bad.
He didn't have a lot of arc. The little guy, Peyton and Finn, both the kids of Kevin O'Sullivan.
That's his third. Big block out. That's all you can do if you're Kevontae Johnson, vastly undersized, but he blocked him out early. Bigby Williams over the back. Foul trouble for LSU.
They haven't, but the idea that you have Days that can come in off the bench,
right.
and he is, and you got Williams, Emmett, who's having a huge game.
They got a lot of bodies.
They got a lot of big bodies. Johnson, quick turnaround, knocks that down. That was kind of easy. Emmett Williams didn't really contest.
We saw him do that with Naz Reid early in the game. There's a kid that was recruited as a big wing. Mike's having to play him at the power forward based on their situation with limited size.
Flash down for Javonte Smart.
We like him. That kid can play. Steps up, big moments.
Tough shot in traffic, and again, now you'll perhaps see Bigby Williams not contest given the number of fouls.
That's right. Looks like they're going to make a change. I wonder if Darius Days is going to get Bigby Williams, and LSU will go to their small lineup, which obviously they can do against this small Gator lineup.
Javonte misses, and Kavarius Hayes pulls it down. Again, only a 4-point game.
I love the advance pass. Good look by Noah Locke. Despite it being a 4-point game, Florida is 2 for 12 from 3. Remember, Ravi, we saw them make 13 in the upset victory in Baton Rouge. They're going to have to pick up pace in order to give themselves a chance.
Terrible pass right into the hands of Hayes. Locke again. That time it's better, and it's a 1-point game.
It shows you the confidence that young man has, and it's right in front of your bench. Mike White is encouraging him to shoot it, and they hit their third on cue.
Will Wade's going to want to talk it over with his team. Good start to the second half for the Gators here on senior night. Noah Locke launching a 3. He's got 10, and we are separated by 1. I'm Carl Ravitch. This is the SEC on ESPN. Little Wednesday night, Saturday, the last day of the regular season in the SEC. Boy, did that go quick. Noah Locke.
Great advancement. We talked about it. Florida's strategy all around the world, same song. Score early, score late. Great advancement. I love to see the true freshman, after having missed one in that exact spot, no hesitation, shoot it in.
Freshman record 75 3-pointers, third most among the major conferences as freshmen go. 6 games with 5 or more of those, which is a freshman school record. Limited practice reps. He's got a hip injury or a lower body injury that's caused him to miss a lot of practice time, but he does show up for the games. And As we just showed you with the numbers, he can be a real difference maker with his shot. Cross-court pass, dangerous one, and it's picked off. They've made a lot of sloppy passes tonight.
You cannot do that against the #1 defensive efficiency team in the SEC. You cannot skip it. It leads to open ones.
Andrew Nembhard, who's on the lead right now. It's the Gators. 41-39.
And the O'Connell Center finally, Carl, comes alive.
Students are on spring break, but this place is near capacity tonight. Skylar Mays.
When you're in Florida, where do you go on spring break? The mountains?
It's a good question. It's like living in Hawaii. Where do you go on your honeymoon?
Yeah.
Next door. Nembhard, good dish. Undercut. We're going to get a foul here on Darius Days.
We love Nembhard's pace. That high ball screen is their go-to. Eliminates help. Great roll for Hayes. Florida taking momentum.
Kavarius Hayes scared himself a little bit the way he came down so awkwardly. Days picks up his third. Take a look at it.
You know what the hardest ball screen to cover, Carl, is? An unpredictable ball screen. And that's what they got right there. Kavarius Hayes stops in transition, sets an unpredictable ball screen against LSU, results in a layup opportunity.
Take a look at Kavarius Hayes on senior night. He got a chance to walk out onto the court with his mom, who was an officer in the United States Army. And when Kavarius was in the 8th grade, his mom was called from reserves and went to serve in Kuwait. Kavarius ultimately moved in with his best friend, and his best friend's dad was his high school coach.
Empty trip. You cannot afford empty trips when you're trying to beat the 10th rated team in the country on senior night.
They've turned up the defensive intensity, has Florida. Emmett Williams going one-on-one in a back down. Three ball, not close from Marlon Taylor.
I would be surprised if Will Wade goes back to Naz Reid. He knows the game is kind of, at a tilting point. If he's in the game with 3 fouls, he has to touch it.
Johnson no good, and a rebound for Williams. He's got Reed ahead of the field. Nembhard was back there with him.
Now you got to go to him in the post. Naz is too valuable to be out there and not touch the ball in the half court.
We'll take a timeout. Take a look at Kavarius Hayes with his mom. We thank her for her service. And she has helped raise a fine young man on senior night in Florida. And a good one with the Gators and the Tigers.
Isn't just a road trip when you seek retribution against your biggest rival.
The best rivalry in college basketball.
Duke, North Carolina at 6. Michigan State at 8. Saturday on ESPN.
Should be a great weekend of college basketball. The last weekend of the regular season. Couple of thoughts here. Conference tournament #1 seed scenarios. Virginia would clinch with a win. Duke and North Carolina. The winner will clinch with a Virginia loss. Over in the Big Ten, it's pretty simple. The Michigan State winner will clinch #1 seed in the conference tournament. Still up for grabs in the SEC as well.
I think you've got 3 teams in the SEC like you saw those 3 teams in the ACC that could all fight their way to Minneapolis at the end of the year. This is one of those teams in LSU. But they need to play with a greater sense of urgency in this last 15 minutes.
Emmett Williams showing some urgency. He and Naz Reid help pick up the offensive rebound. Naz Reid's only taken 2 shots. He's got 4 points.
He's just a non-factor. Everything's on the perimeter. I would love to see him play inside out, play through him in the mid-post.
Yeah, what we're seeing is that dependence again on that 3-point shot from LSU. Since they had a lead of 32-21, Florida's outscored them by 13, 20-7.
And Florida's doing a good job down here when they don't have the 3 in transition like we've seen on a couple of occasions early. They're trying to post Tremont Waters, but that's easier said than done. He is not allowing it to happen.
Another 3-ball misses. The ball bounces on the ground. Nembhard picks it up.
Great block out right there. Emmett Williams trying to make a play. Florida putting bodies on bodies, which is the way that they can compete off their defensive glass. I like this matchup.
He had it. He just literally lost it in the feet of Naz Reid.
And Good finish by Scalame.
Sure
Sorry.
was.
Hey, and you saw Nas was going to give up on the play because he already had 3 fouls. He was going to let him go.
Yep.
Couldn't control the bounce. Big 4-point swing.
Those are big feet. You can lose a ball on those feet.
No question. Not a lot of space in there.
Bassett back in the game, 21 for Florida. Tied at 41 with 13:50 to go.
Late in the clock, seniors got to make a play. Penetrate pitch. That was the right decision.
That will count. Got it off in time. Nas Reed is on the ground. He's in some pain for LSU.
That's not a good sign, but it looks like he may knock the wind out of him. Cavante Harris is now 5. Deontay Johnson, I should say, is now 5 for 6 penetration. Yeah, you see he took a knee to the midsection. Tough catch. But I assure you it went in.
That's what Nas is saying. I can assure you it went in. Deontay Johnson, 13 points, 5 of 6 shooting, 2 of 3 from 3. Florida is on top by 3. Look ahead to Friday. We got our NBA doubleheader. It starts with the Rockets. They take on the Sixers, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And then the top 2 teams in the Western Conference will face off. That's going to be the Warriors, who got throttled by the Celtics last night at home. They host the Nuggets. Coverage starts NBA Countdown, 7 Eastern time on ESPN and the ESPN app. Had a big deal last night, the Warriors losing to the Celtics, or is it not such a big deal?
I don't think it's such a big deal. Warriors are the best team in basketball until someone proves otherwise. I do think I do think it was a great confidence booster. And you would think, man, these are professional athletes. But you know what they say, Carl? Confidence is like cash. You got to have some to make some. So Celtics needed to get a W just to kind of prove to themselves, hey, we are an elite team. So I think it was important in that vein.
I learned so much sitting next to you, Jimmy Dykes. Dykes goes with the hope is not a plan. You go with you got to have cash to make cash, like confidence. Wow, big block there by Johnson. 8 on the shot clock as Waters drives.
Strong
and
drive.
He lays it up and in.
Strong drive. Created space, played over the top of a much larger Andrew Nembhard. But that's what LSU does. They eat off their offensive glass, creating more opportunities.
Is there something about the LSU style, their personality? We already talked about how many close games they've been in. They're in another close game here. Is there a reason why they play close games?
You know what? I think they're young. I think they're, wow, big shot right there. We talked about it. The Florida Gators will not win this basketball game at 2 for 11 from 3 like they were in the first half. They've already hit 3 this half. But to your point, I think LSU is supremely talented. I think they're still young. And I think when you're young, you've got a coolness about you. And sometimes cool does not win in hard games.
Too cool for school. 4th foul on Days. And look, I think there's something about Florida in the head of LSU. They beat them last year. They beat them earlier this year in overtime. Something going on. You keep Florida around a close game late. As you see Hudson's 3, they feel really good against LSU, and LSU feels really poorly against Florida.
Well, I know this. Basketball is the ultimate game of matchups. And even though there's such contrast in styles between Florida and LSU, Florida has a style which takes LSU out of their comfort zone.
Tennessee Volunteers won last night over Mississippi State. They certainly are keeping an eye on this. Rick Barnes' team. We'd love to see LSU go down tonight.
There's a lot of people watching this. I'm sure Big Blue's watching as well. A lot of implications. You cannot play around when that guy's in the area. Incredible hands. Tremont Waters, incredible hands and the ability to make plays. He plays so low to the ground.
Grew up dribbling not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 basketballs at a time. That's how good Tremont Waters is and why he gets so low to the ground. Farnham.
Hey, I like it. 90s was a good era.
The 80s was not.
No, the 80s was sucky. 70s awesome. 80s.
Did you say sucky?
Yeah, not great. I forgot I was on TV. I was about to say something else, and I said, well, I'm on television.
The 80s was sucky.
It's appropriate, I think.
Well, the Gators have shot themselves right back into this thing. You can take a look at some of those numbers in the first half. 31 points on 2 of 11 from 3. Now they've doubled their three-point productivity, and they got 16 already in the second half. Got themselves a 3-point lead after the free throw drops from Skylar Mays.
You said it. First half struggled a bit, 32%. Got it down to a one-possession game, but they have started this half 6 for 9, 4 of which behind the arc. That's Florida Gator basketball.
LSU fall back into that bad habit of launching threes in the second half. First half, they were so effective getting points in the paint. Hudson with a blow-by.
What a drive.
Right by Javonte Smart.
I really think, Carl, that's all set up by spacing. 5 players above the free throw line. Catch it, rip it, get it to the rim. Impressive finish by the senior.
Waters got bumped. Yeah, Nebhard got him with a body.
Watch the spacing, Ravi. Mike does a great job with this lineup. Everybody above foul line. What's that do? It eliminates help. Catch, White, one bounce, finish over the top.
Hudson's got 11 on 3 of 7. Nebhard picks up his 3rd foul for Florida.
I would be very shocked, partner, if number 3 in purple didn't try to take over this game in the last 11 minutes. You can kind of sense that he understands the importance. He's their guy with the ball. You're going to have to stay in front of him if you're Florida.
Knocks down that free throw, an 80% free throw shooter. He's in a double digits with 10. He and Emmett Williams, the only 2 with double digits for LSU. Javonte Smart, who's been so good, is only 3 of 11 from the floor and 7 points. Hudson step through. Oh, he's starting to heat up. We saw that in the first half a couple of weeks ago. Now maybe the second half.
Back to Mike White's point. Play off 2 feet. Play off 2 feet allows you to pivot through that double. Good, strong move by Jalen Hudson. Back-to-back strong takes. You see right there, Noah Locke doubled Nas Reed off the catch. Get it out of his hands. Good ball movement there by LSU.
Smart, after going 3 of 11, hits that 3. Waters is great. He can pass with both hands right off the dribble. That time he threw with his left.
He has great vision, and he has got great hand-eye coordination on both ends. That's what I think makes him such a great steals defender.
Hudson, he hit it, and he's fouled.
He does that little leg swing, whirl, be free, give me some space. I think it's his natural shooting motion. And as a result, he got a chance for a 4-point play call.
Definition of a streak shooter. He's got their last 10. And we've seen all varieties, layups, dunks, 3-pointers.
It would be a nice way to go out. Jalen Hudson, senior night. This would, without question, solidify the Florida Gators in the NCAA tournament. And he has been to the NCAA tournament every year he's been in a Gator uniform. I know he's had a frustrating year. Mike White's done a great job, he and his staff, of just staying positive with the kid, putting him in positions to try to make plays, and he has certainly responded over this last month.
In a big way. That 17 points ties his season high. And a 6-point lead for Florida, the largest of the night for the Gators.
Back to this zone, you see 1-3-1 look here. Ball gets to the corner, they'll get out to man, but you cannot let him split you. We used to play a little 1-3-1 at Ole Miss, and if anybody got to the middle of the floor, it was problematic, and you saw Tremont Waters do just that.
I think Tremont Waters' eyes light up when he sees something like that. He'd dribble through a door hole if he can.
He's something. He may be the only guy that could dribble between us and the student section behind us. We're so tight over here, but I think he could get through.
Well, we talked in the first half that Nas Reed would somehow end up in double digits and double-digit rebounds. So far, only 4 points and only 2 shots.
He's given in to the double team. You can't give in to the double team.
Waters charge. Good job by Kavarius Hayes. He stood his ground.
Mike White says he's the best post defender he's had. at Florida. Not only does he block shots, he is fantastic at this. Gets set, takes it through his chest. That's the right call as he was outside the restricted arc. Well, Wade didn't agree, but looks like on the replay, Doug Show's got that one right. But to my earlier point, just because you're getting double teamed, Naz Reid, don't give in to it. That's the whole point. Fight through the double, still be aggressive offensively. He only has 2 field goal attempts to this point in the game.
Waters just picked up his 4th foul. Big time foul trouble for LSU. Tremont Waters will go to the bench.
That's huge. Because he's the one
Williams
guy.
has 3, Reed has 3, Waters has 4, Days has 4.
Tremont Waters is the one guy, Ravi, that has been aggressive offensively in manufacturing baskets. Now it's going to have to be Smart and Mays on the perimeter, but it's got to start on this end. Florida's been very, very efficient offensively this half.
All right, Hudson's feeling it. He's got their last 11. They lob it down low. Good catch by Hayes. He misses the layup down low.
It's a lot of work, high risk to get it to a guy who's not a great offensive player. Nothing against Kavarius Hayes. He is a terrific player. But offensively, he just does not have a great feel in traffic. That's high risk for that.
Skylar Mays with 10 on the shot clock.
Late in the clock, here's their late clock maker, Javonte Smart.
Step back, short. And we're going to keep it right here. Looked like Kevon Allen had a hold on Emmett Williams. You want to do it?
No, I don't. I was going to say this. It was like wrestling a gator down there. That's what he was trying to do. Emmett Williams is a hard blockout guy. No, I don't want to do that.
Saturday's the final weekend of the regular season. 2 of the best games on ESPN. We got Duke and Carolina, and then we got Michigan and Michigan State. One starts at 6, the other at 8. And a jump ball underneath. Good defense interior by the Gators of Florida. And it's a possession arrow, Florida.
Boy, impressive, aggressive plays by both teams. Florida protecting their paint, bodies on bodies. I thought that first one might be goaltending. Was a little surprised we didn't hear a whistle. Good break for the home team.
Jalen Hudson is having himself a game on senior night. 17 points, 5 and 9. And he's thinking shot when he gets it. Emmett Williams threatened to double team. That one off the front of the rim. How about the rebound by Hayes?
Great job by LSU not allowing him to get to the middle off that ball screen. Pushed him to the sideline. Took a tough shot there, and it's going to allow LSU to get out in the open floor. Great pass.
Good defense. That time Hudson deflected it. It'll stay with LSU. That was a great pass.
Great pass, great catch. Again, it just shows you the talent. Every time you and I do LSU, we see the talent that Naz Reid has, and we're saying, man, go put him in the basket.
Reid has Kevon Allen on him. He has to take this thing down low, and he lost it, then he threw it up, follows it, and he got fouled. He's given up 8 inches, is Kevon Allen to Naz Reid.
He put it on the floor, and that's where Florida has a chance to get it, knock it loose. You got to play over the top if you're Naz Reid. We've seen it before. We saw it at Mississippi State first time we worked together. He took over the game down the stretch as they went in overtime. With Tremont Waters on the bench with 4 fouls, he's going to have to be very aggressive in this last 8 minutes if they're going to stay in the driver's seat for an SEC championship.
75% free throw shooter, Naz Reid.
You would think that LSU would have a decisive advantage from the free throw line, but this is only their 12th. Florida's gotten there 18 times. I think it speaks to aggression, most especially in the second half.
How about settling for 3-point shots, too? Off to the left, only 1 of 2. 5 points in the game for Naz Reid and a 5-point lead with 8:20 to go.
Florida will get ball reversal. It looks like they're trying to play through Hayes in that high post, again, to try to eliminate any help situation from LSU. Late in the clock already.
Who's open? Nebhart will get to Johnson. That three's no good, and Emmett Williams goes up. And it's LSU basketball.
That's only Johnson's second miss of the game. Another good, clean look. Kid's had a great game.
Haven't seen the alley-oops, haven't seen the points in the paint from LSU in the second half.
Florida is doing a great job at the point of attack on all of LSU's ball screening action, not allowing them to get downhill, making them play east-west, Carl.
Under 8, Florida 55, LSU 50. And it has been all Jalen Hudson. 17 big ones as he celebrates senior night at home, trying to carry the Gators to a huge win. Out of late and close, combined with clutch. And so far LSU's had a number of these in which they've won. The Naz Reid three that rattled over the rim gave them a 4-point victory. The controversial tip-in at the buzzer by Bigby Williams. If in fact they call that off, the game only would have been tied. There would have been no victory. It would have went to overtime. And then LSU over Tennessee 82-80. They've beaten Tennessee and they've beaten Kentucky. LSU wins. They'd be in a great position with a game against Vanderbilt on Saturday to clinch the overall #1 seed in the SEC tournament. But right now they're losing by 5, and that certainly would put teams like Tennessee in the driver's seat and bring Kentucky back into the conversation. They've had a great season. They haven't lost on the road. You know how difficult that is, Andy.
Very difficult. But as you saw, you just talked us right through it. They're not going to flinch. They have been in this position all season long. It'll come down to what it always comes down to, Ravi. Who can make the plays? Right now, Florida's making the plays. It's the reason that they've got this 5-point lead.
Marlon Taylor's free throw rattles in. He had that massive dunk on that alley-oop. That was his only bucket of the night prior to that free throw.
Yeah, he's an active guy, can play multiple positions. I saw Will Wade after Jalen Hudson scored 3 in a row. He took Smart off of Hudson and put Marlon Taylor on. If you're Jalen Hudson, you've got to continue to stay aggressive for the Gators. He has been their best option in this half court.
That time he drives. I like him driving rather than settling for that 3.
I do too. He's a strong player off the dribble. That was a good, strong move. Got a good angle off that weave catch. Allowed him to get to his spot and make a hard finish over size.
Taylor, nice drive. That's a block by Hayes. Naz Reid reverse too strong. Taylor gets it to go and a foul.
Impressive defensive possession there by Kavarius Hayes. He challenged the first, he challenged the second. But LSU is so tenacious off their offensive glass. Hayes challenges the first and the second. Right there, Marlon Taylor taking the ball from Hudson. Big and one opportunity.
It's not a offensive philosophy or a play by design, but LSU, when in trouble, they throw it up to the rim. They know they're going to go get it.
Sometimes their best offense is a missed shot.
No doubt. Quickly, Taylor, 6 points. Free throw short. There's Reid. And that's, I think, off Hudson, but they're going to give it to Florida. Javonte Smart said, pointed up to the monitor like he wanted a replay. That was right in front of us. I thought Hudson hit it last.
Did you?
Yeah.
I was trying to, I wish Naz would have picked it up right here. Well, we're not going to get a great angle, it doesn't look like.
That confirms what I saw.
Yeah, Doug Show's right on top of it. Florida's gotten a few breaks.
Hudson launches a 3. Season high, 22.
I think the tail of that play, did you see the look Marvin Taylor gave him afterward? Like, are you kidding me? Going left, he still kicks that leg across. Knocked in a hard fade from 22.
What a night on senior night. And that's trouble for Naz Reid. He dribbled it off his leg.
Ball will stay LSU. Great
Mont
double
Waters
again.
comes in with 4 fouls, Andy.
Look at this play here. Great drive, step back. Boom, knocks it down. Look, what can you do? You see Marlon Taylor very cognizant of the fact that he did not want to run into the jump shooter. Jalen Hudson having a night.
Having a night, having the last 6 minutes and 20 seconds. They've scored 16 points. Guess how many Hudson has scored?
I bet you're going to tell me.
Just take a guess.
I'm going to say...
Don't undersell it either.
I'm going to say 16.
Boom!
That's
Can't
what.
sneak anything by
That
Kennedy
is,
tonight.
that is expert analysis right there. There he is. Got the head going, got the tats everywhere, and he is making plays. Got the curveball. I think he did that just in honor of you, Carl Ravitch. Baseball season right around the corner. You got a big game tomorrow. He's showing you the inside, the outside, step back. That man's working with a lot of pitches.
Sure is. He's a 5-pitch guy. 6 points in the first half on 1 of 5 second half. Last 6 minutes and 20 seconds, 16 points on 6 of 8 shooting.
This was a guy that I thought coming into the year was going to have a chance to be a first-team All-League player. Has struggled early, but he is playing well for the Gators late. Shocked he didn't shoot that.
Smart gets called for a trip. Hudson is continuing to kill LSU tonight. How about a senior night show? You're familiar with guys that have those nights on senior nights?
No question. I had a young man, Stephon Moody, great player for me at Ole Miss. Once went for 43 on senior night against our in-state rival. Pretty special night. Terrence Davis, you did one last night.
Yes.
Terrence Davis had a 25-point, 12 rebound. Great effort. Came up a little short against Kentucky. But you love to see your seniors step up big in their last opportunity on their home court.
Hudson with 23. He came out earlier with his family. Did Jalen Hudson, the transfer from Virginia Tech, second on the transfer scoring list here. All time at Florida, and he knocks down another one. He's adding to that total. 24 in the game.
This is slippery if you're LSU. You need to have a quality possession. Florida looks like zone to change the look. They're going to continue to double Nas Reed in the post. Great extra pass.
Skylar Mays. Emmett Williams set a wall that nobody could get through. That's why he ended up on the ground. But a big 3 cuts it to 5.
I don't care what numbers say, Ravi. If I'm LSU and I need a hard shot, I want Skylar Mays to take it, and that's exactly what he did there.
Nembhard is down on the ground on the other end and limping on his way back.
They got numbers 504. You got to take advantage of it.
They don't. Smart wanted it, didn't get it. Mays with his left. No, but there's Emmett Williams.
Well, that kid's had a monster game, Ravi. That is his 6th offensive rebound, 13th overall in just over 20 minutes action. That's what you call productivity.
Back to 3. They break the press. Well, Locke looked like he slipped his sneakers, and that may have contributed to him missing the shot. They got a chance to tie it as Waters drives the lane and kicks. And we're tied. Javonte Smart, just like that, 62 all.
This is what shows you how explosive LSU is. 9 quick points in just over a minute of action. Penetrate, pitch, eat off the offensive glass, and then they get a 10-second count.
Violation. Boy, Florida fell asleep in the last 2 minutes.
You know, there has not been a Kayvon Allen sighting as of late. Another great senior for Florida. I would be surprised if Mike did not go to him down the stretch. Here he comes.
It's going to give Jalen Hudson a breather. Hudson has been special. 7 of 13 and 24 points to the bench to get him a breather.
He'll probably rest him through the 4. Let him finish the game. Rest him while they're on D. LSU in great offensive rhythm. Here comes another double on Nas. You got to get it out and get it reversed.
Waters, tough shot.
Impossible shot. Impossible shot.
A 10-0 run for LSU. They lead by 2.
That's why that kid is as good as there is in college basketball.
They got to get the ball
5'10".
over again. They're running into this 10-second clock. They just get it over. But they have been out of sync here in the last 2.5 minutes.
You want to talk about answering the bell? We thought LSU was a little bit of a sleep.
Good play. Emmett Williams looks at Nas Reed. And the back of the defensive line for LSU snoozing.
Florida is a lot better offensively when Andrew Nembhard has the ball.
Nas Reed trapped, steps through it, and gets that left-handed shot to go.
That's what I'm talking about, Ravi. Don't give in to the double. Fight the double. Play over the top. Great move by that young freshman. What a game.
Really good. 66-64. We've had a handful of these. We've done 3 of them. I think they've been decided by a total of about 8 points.
They have all been competitive, and this one is going to be competitive to the bitter end. Great duck in, great ball fake. Now he's got to go to the line and pay it off.
Bassett will do that. He has not attempted a free throw tonight, but boy, the offense starting to click on both sides.
Look at this shot right here.
I think you called it impossible.
Impossible.
Impossible. Mission impossible. And then the dunk on the other end. We are got a good one with 3:30 to go. At the 5-minute mark is 2-9, and this one was tied at 62 at the 5-minute mark. Here's your second half summaries and totals. And again, the points in the paint have been a little different in the second half than they were in the first half, where LSU owned them with 22 points in the paint in the first half, and a lot fewer here. A 12-2 run. They made their last 4. Bassett will go to the free throw line and try to tie this one up.
Speaking of the Pirates, I bet you'd be a hell of a pirate.
Think so?
Yeah, I think you would.
Like
Pirate-like, you got pirate-like characteristics.
Old school. Well, what does that mean?
Well, I mean, I just think savvy, gritty, grimy when needed, polished. I mean, you got it all, man.
Pirates are polished?
Yeah, some pirates are very polished. You see Johnny Depp?
So one of those big Pirates of the Caribbean boats.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Exactly. Your expedition served as a boat.
It sure is.
Big possession defensively if you're Florida. Oh, they send the whole team at Nas. Great job of getting it out of there. Now you got to finish.
Bigby Williams. It looks like Bassett took one right off the face, and he's down on the ground. Bigby Williams inadvertently hit him.
You know what we're about to do, don't you? We're going to have a deeper pirate conversation because this will definitely be a monitor review. We could get into the best pirate movies of all time. We're going to go monitor, no doubt, right here.
What are we going to monitor for? I mean,
well, right there, anything that hit in the face. He
His
didn't do it. He
head.
hit him with his head. But look, oh, he's maybe not going to the monitor.
You don't need to go to the monitor there.
Bigby Williams does not seem like he's been in this game very much, has he?
No.
Real time, he's probably been sitting about 30 minutes.
What LSU has done, though, is every possession now, the ball touches Nas Reed's hands. Every one of them.
No question.
And his numbers may be down. He's got 7 now, but he's been involved in every one of these possessions.
They're trying to play through him, and Nas is doing a good job of not giving in too early to the double. Force the double and then play off the weak side where you have an advantage.
Jalen Hudson back in the game. Number 3 for Florida with 24 points tonight, a season high. And in the game of runs, LSU is on one there on a 14-3 run.
Davon Allen has been awfully quiet.
Oh, how about the soft touch from Jalen Hudson?
What
26.
A game. What a game. I'm like you, Ravi. He's got a reputation as being a shooter, but I really like him when he's downhill off the bounce.
Yeah. See if they get the ball into Reed's hands. They do. This time, Florida. Now the double comes.
Yeah.
Reed lost it.
I'm glad they didn't call the flop, but he did lose his balance based off of that. You got to reverse the ball. Make the ball change sides of the floor where you can catch a kid on a closeout. Closing out to SEC players is not easy. Move
Johnson
the ball
to Nebhart.
Oh, I like him in the post, too, because he's a good passer down
Hudson launches again. That's short. And there were no white shirts on the offensive glass.
LSU's got their big lineup in the game. When you got Bigby Williams and Nas Reed, typically you're going to control the glass.
Spreading the floor for Waters. Can't get it to go. Follows his own shot. Tremont Waters, tremendous.
Wow, he just gets the ball to his spot. He actually knocked Nembhard back, and that's how he was able to follow. Big possession there for LSU. Not smart.
Nope. Foul on Bigby Williams. A reminder, SportsCenter tonight follows the Nuggets and the Lakers. Neil and Stan will have it. Stephen A is going to join him from the Staples Center. Highlights and reactions from LA with LeBron. 12 points shy of passing MJ on the all-time points list. That's Michael Jordan. And the top quarterbacks in McShay's latest mock draft. SportsCenter is on around 1 a.m. Eastern time on ESPN and the ESPN app. Big free throws. in and out.
He's missed his last 3.
90 seconds. LSU up by 3. And once again, they go with a spread offense.
At the end of the day, they're going to do a high ball screen or just let him play in space. It looks like let him play in space.
Bigby Williams, no. Reed had it. He lost it. It's LSU ball.
You know, you saw Cavante Johnson battling Bigby Williams, but he's given up about 5 inches. And Williams has incredible length to keep that ball alive.
Last couple of minutes here. They're going to look at that to make sure it, in fact, went off Florida.
I think they got the right call. What do you think?
This one I'm not sure of. Only because it was far away and I didn't get a good look at it.
Right there,
That's
back
an
of the
easy
hand.
one, though,
yeah, easy. They're just doing it because they want to make sure. Obviously, big possession, big game, a lot of implications.
Well, the close games, and there's a frustrating part of it from LSU's perspective, that they're in a lot of close games that feel like they shouldn't be, and yet they've won so many of them. How will that serve them? Conference tournament, NCAA tournament, if at all?
Well, it's how they live. I don't think they're going to be uncomfortable in any situation. They've played in so many tight games, and the league is so good top to bottom that they're playing against a lot of quality teams and a lot of hostile environments. Student body not here. They're on spring break, but I think the O'Connell Center's got great energy, great support. So LSU, most especially with Tremont Waters back at full strength, will be calm and cool. I like the play over the top. And now you play late clock. You score, you put Florida in a tough bind. Last time they didn't even break a ball screen. I'd be surprised if they did again this time.
Waters looks, is telling either Javonte Smart or Reed to come help him. He lost it.
Wow, what a play right there. You're talking about a 4-point swing. We got a 1-point game, Ravi.
70-69, Tremont Waters didn't get any help with the screens, didn't need it, and he just dribbled it right into Florida's hands. And Jalen Hudson now 28.
Yeah, he just kind of mishandled the ball. And not only do you turn it over, it's like a pick 6. You turn it over, which leads directly to an open floor dunk. Again, I don't think Florida did anything. He just mishandled the ball. Jalen Hudson, great open court speed, cuts this to a 1-point game. For all the things Tremont has done great tonight, and he has been really, really good, that's his 6th turnover.
Well, off a bad loss to Georgia, they lost 61-55. There was a 5-way tie for 4th place. Mike White had to figure out how we practice. Are we going to push and push and push? Or are we going to give him a little break, give him a day off, do a walkthrough? He opted for the walkthrough and kind of pull back the reins a little bit. It seems to have worked in that they're in this game against an LSU team that's right on the verge of winning the conference. That's got to be, for a coach, a challenging decision.
Well, you've got to know your team. And if you remember, Andrew Nembhard goes down with back spasms.
Yep.
Late in the first half of their loss Saturday against Georgia. He does not look completely 100% tonight.
Right.
He obviously, Noah Locke has been dealing with a lower extremity injury all year. Mike White cannot say enough great things about his toughness and how he's battling. So both teams, man, it's a long season. And you can see the finish line, and both teams obviously playing with great effort. Now it's about making a play.
Saturday, Tennessee has to go to Auburn. Auburn will be sky high for that game. LSU, if they win tonight, they'll stay in a tie with Tennessee. They lose tonight, they have Vanderbilt. And Florida has to deal with Kentucky. See what happens in the last 29.1 with LSU with the ball and up by 1. Did he get the timeout? He did. Boy, that was close.
Great pressure by Florida, not allowing anything easy.
All right, let's get it back to Chris Cotter here as we get a 30-second timeout. Chris? Last time we had this scenario, Chris, we had an overtime game. A one-point game here, 70-69. Jalen Hudson on senior night here in Florida has been the offensive story. He's got 28.
He's been tremendous.
He's
making plays
fantastic.
Inside, outside,
He's
hitting
got
shots.
22 of the last 25 for Florida. If you're LSU, where's the ball go?
Well, you got to try to get the ball to Tremont Waters. Will Wade has brought him to half court. I would be surprised if the three in the front court don't escape. We got a little over the top trying to draw a foul. Now you've got time and you've got a great foul shooter right there in Skylar Mays. I'm sure if you're Florida, once it's inbounded, you're going to try to trap it hard. There's still plenty of time. Over 28 seconds, you would have tried to trap it hard once before you committed that foul. Tavares Hayes was just a little out of control.
Skylar Mays will go to the free throw line, one of the best in the country at 87%. And he is 4 of 4 tonight.
He's the guy I would want there if I'm LSU.
All day long. And wouldn't you know it, he comes up short.
How about that? Didn't give it a chance. Timeout Mike White. He'll want to draw something up. I would be very surprised if it did not go through Jalen Hudson with the type of night that kid's had.
And you're driving it, aren't you?
I would drive it, put the onus on the officials. He's also done a very good job of finishing through contact, and LSU's got foul trouble all across their front court.
Cannot overstate how huge this game is for Florida. If they can somehow pull out a victory over LSU, it would, by every measure, lock them into the NCAA tournament.
Oh, it's done. If they, I think it's done, and it's done in a way that they can get in that 8-9 to possibly a 7 if you could find a way to sweep LSU.
And to think about the Gators, they had won 5 in a row. Tavares Hayes, prior to that win streak, called the players-only meeting. We saw his mom, who was in the military as an officer. He's the guy that unified this club. And then they had that stubborn loss to Georgia, but right back at it tonight with a chance here in the ball with 22 to go. He's on the floor wearing 13. Hudson's been their offensive guy. You got a senior in Allen. Deontay Johnson's had a big game as well. And here's Nebhart, a freshman.
LSU comes out in zone, looks 1-3-1. Playing a little chess, 1-3-1. Gutsy call by Will Wade. And it leads to an open shot.
Hudson got it! That's a 3. They lead it by 2 with 6 to go.
You've got to stay in front of Tremont Waters. He's going to get it to the basket and finish.
And he ties the game up. And we will go to overtime for the second time in 2 weeks.
Wow.
LSU and Florida in overtime. What a shot by Waters after Hudson got the 3 to go.
What a finish. Hey, gutsy call. We have not seen LSU in the 1-3-1 the entire second half. Will Wade playing a little chess with Mike White. You could tell it confused Florida a bit. But once they figured out what they're in, Deontay Johnson with a great extra pass, and the one guy on the floor that you do not want to leave uncovered if you're LSU is the guy that is having a monster game. But 6 seconds is an eternity for Tremont Waters.
No kidding.
He can get it to the basket with the best in basketball. Watch the English. Wow.
And unlike the play against Kentucky, there was nobody there to knock in an offensive rebound. If he had missed, the game was over and Florida would have had a victory. Instead, overtime, 5 more minutes. Both these teams have been excellent in overtime. LSU has already played 6 overtime games, and they've won 4 of them. The Gators have been in 2, and they've won 2 of them, including 2 weeks ago against LSU. We'll send it back to Chris Cotter as we get set for our 5-minute overtime.
Hey, Chris, I don't know why. You got to get a side bet in Vegas. Me and Ravitch are 3 for 3 in overtime games. You realize that? We did LSU, Mississippi State overtime. We did the first one. We're 3 for 3. That's a side bet in Vegas. We get that in the Mirage.
Poor Jimmy Dykes. He's out of the SEC tournament. I'll take overtime games all night long.
We like overtime. It's a high-level game here, brother.
Their 7th overtime game, and Waters hustles to the ball. How about Tremont Waters? I mean, that's the brain there of a guy that loves the ball in his hands. He turned it over, and then he comes back and ties the game up with no time left.
Hey, sidebar, Tremont Waters, 4 fouls. Cavell Bigby Williams, 4 fouls. Interesting to see how aggressive they can be in this last 5 minutes of basketball.
Did you go sidebar on us?
A little sidebar.
Sidebar. Javonte Smart gets it to go in the lane.
We hadn't called his name much. Remember, he was really good early. Had not made a play down the stretch. But as I said in the first half, I think that kid feels like he can make a play every trip.
Hudson threw up the left hand, no good. Bigby Williams with a rebound.
Bigby Williams made him change it at the end as he came flying at the dribbler.
So what they did in the second half, they would double team Reed. He'd find a wide open Waters. Splash down. Tremont Waters.
Great pass, poise. I love that Naz Reid is not giving in to the double. Common knowledge, Ravi says, if you can play out of the double, you got advantage off the ball, and that's what LSU is exploiting. Shoot it.
Tough shot. Reed came out, and boy, Jalen Hudson.
Wow.
30 tonight.
Wow, 24 points in this half, Ravi. That's more than he's had in any one game.
Reed this time dribbles, and he's trapped, and he calls timeout.
I'm sitting over here coaching him. I thought he was going to shoot the first one. They go under the handoff. I thought he was going to pull the first one, but he didn't settle. Got to that mid-range, made a hard 2.
Tremont Waters, just like that, has 19 points in the game.
Great find right there. Under control. Bam. Another deep one from Tremont Waters. And that really is the double team did not disrupt Naz Reid whatsoever. And as a result, he had complete court vision, found the right guy, the open guy.
Yeah, Waters is a 33% three-point shooter. He is tonight 2 of 4 from deep. But just like shooters shoot, dribblers dribble, because he did lose that ball late game, turned it over, Hudson came down, tied it up, and then it's Waters, ball in hand, who comes down and ties it up with 1 second to go.
I'm just glad the drummer from AC/DC joined us behind us. What in the world was that? I mean, what? I'm talking about hell's bells. That's a lot going on, man. Here it comes again. AC/DC back in the house.
I can't hear you. What?
I'm telling you, wow, where'd that come from?
Let's go to the end of regulation. Waters, that's the ball he lost, which led to the Hudson run out and flush. Hudson 10 of 18 and 30. Mays missed the free throw. And it was Hudson again knocking down that 3 with 6 to go. Nobody stepped in front and stopped Tremont Waters.
And what is great, did you see Tremont Waters change sides of the basket so that Kavarius Hayes couldn't get to it because he was coming? What a great game, man.
Great game.
Point, counterpoint. A lot of leagues play checkers. In the SEC, we play chess.
And such a big game for both teams. LSU trying to hang on and match Tennessee. They own the tiebreaker. If they finish with the same record, will be the 1 seed in the SEC conference. You could make the argument if they were to go on and win the SEC
they
tournament,
could be a 1 seed.
They could be a 1 seed.
They will be a 1
tournament.
seed. If they finish this game, if they win this game, beat Vanderbilt, and then win the SEC tournament, they will be a 1.
And there's been no real conversation about LSU being a 1 seed. Hudson's point total is, in fact, 33, not 31. Naz Reid, tough shot.
Wow.
Oh, he gets it over that front rim.
Wow, what a strong play. Good, strong base. Sometimes he plays a little upright, and Florida was able to play under him. Not that time. He set that big butt down, got space, and finished.
Nebhart open, and he makes the layup. Waters has 4 fouls. You made that point earlier, so he certainly wasn't going to commit his 5th. They'll stay within 3.
Florida back in the zone, Ravi.
Skylar Mace is a calming presence for LSU. Waters fade away. No good. Reed there, and that's going to be a foul on Naz Reid as Hayes was ready to corral it.
Now Hayes has got to go finish at the free throw line. He's missed his last 3, including his last trip, which was a front of a 1-and-1.
2 of 6 on the game. Reed picks up foul number 4. Bigby Williams sits there with 4. Waters and Days each with 4 fouls.
Great on-ball defense right there, forcing a very difficult 2 by Tremont Waters. And then Kavarius Hayes. He has been incredible with his effort. Just got his 13th rebound.
There you go. And look, I'm not suggesting that they can't go on the road and beat Kentucky, but if you're thinking about the last 2 games for Florida, you're at home against LSU in overtime, or you're going to Kentucky, this is the one you got to get.
Well, it's certainly the way they've played. They're putting themselves in a position. It's going to come down to these last 2 minutes, as it should. Now you got to make a play. Kavarius Hayes been tremendous. The 13 rebounds is a new career high. Steps up and makes 2 big free throws. Florida back to man-to-man.
Smart. Oh, he stole it. Kevon Allen stole it. And it'll stay LSU basketball. Good hands by Kevon Allen.
Great hands. Javonte Smart trying to drive that gap. Expose the ball. The senior, who has been awfully quiet offensively, makes a defensive play. Couldn't save it. LSU inline OB. Looks like Naz Reid playing over the top.
Waters, nope, came up short. And Johnson gets the rebound.
Took a little contact in the body. Will Wade wanted a foul. Doug Shouse says play on. Florida with a chance to recapture the lead.
Nebhart picked up his dribble.
Remember, Tremont Waters with 4 fouls. You have to be smart if you're number 3 defensively.
5 on the shot clock. Johnson drives it. Elevates. No, Bigby Williams. That's
right, off Kavarius Hayes' chest.
And Doug Shouse had
They'll look at it.
Pointed to his chest, too, just like you called it. They will take a look at it.
I like the drive. You know,
Yep.
Deontay Johnson's been tremendous. That's not an easy shot. That tweener push shot. He's no Mark Jackson. You know, Mark Jackson would throw that.
The teardrop.
Oh, it was the best there's ever been at it. It's a good look, just a little deep. And it went right off of Kavarius Hayes', looks like his right arm. Both teams going to play at the end of the clock, and both teams have got guys that can go make plays.
The Florida crowd says, you know, this may have gone off of Bigby Williams' leg instead of that chest. It's really hard to tell from that angle.
I'm saying right arm, LSU ball.
Yep, Doug Shouse confirms it. LSU basketball off the chest.
Right. You know, the one thing that we have not seen much in this half, we have not seen Florida back in that 3/4 court zone. They haven't. I don't think they've shown it much in this second half. It's been basic man-to-man. They have thrown a little 2-3 zone in, 1-3-1 on a couple of possessions. They're obviously trying to pack line it in.
It also feels like Naz Reid, who's been in the middle of everything, has more than 1 assist, but he's only got 1 assist in this game.
Took the ball out of Tremont's hands, a little surprising. Now they're going to play through Naz as they have the entire half.
Spin move, no good. Bigby Williams. Florida comes up with it.
Great fight. Great fight by Bigby Williams, as he does all year, but there were 3 Gator bodies on the inside of him. which was able to neutralize the big fella.
They find a way to get Jalen Hudson back into it. He's got 33 tonight. Driving, finger roll. Oh, that could have been a goaltend. Reed is down again as he got hit, and we'll call time. Did you have that coming down or going up?
I thought for the naked eye, I'm sure we're going to get a chance to see it again. I thought with the naked eye it was a good block. I thought he had it at the peak. Good, strong drive. But again, Cavell Bigby Williams gives them such a presence at the basket. We'll see, Ralph. We're not going to get a great angle right there. It's hard to tell from that angle.
Are you kidding me? What's on the goddamn backboard?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, it's hard to tell.
Didn't hit the backboard for sure before
Here,
he hit it.
this will give it to us. What do you got?
I think it's pretty close. I think it may have been still going up.
Yeah, I got to play on. I think it was the right call. My initial reaction was it was a play on.
Nas Reed, you can see his mouth is bleeding, so he's going to have to be.
He'll have to come off and think about this. Every offensive possession they've run in the
No
last
doubt.
15 minutes of the game has gone through that big fella's hands. So with him out of the game, now I'll be anxious to see what Will Wade draws up.
Freshman from Asbury Park, New Jersey, and he took an elbow, and you'll see it after that shot was blocked by Bigby Williams.
Like he took.
Watch Jalen Hudson's elbow.
Right there.
Right there.
Yep, yep. That won't be anything. That's a play on, part of the game. And I honestly think that was the right call.
Very close.
Close, bang, bang.
You can just hear people out there watching saying, boy, LSU got that call against Kentucky. No goaltend here. And now no Nas Reed in the game for LSU.
Still plenty of time. You see there's over a 10-second differential shot clock, game clock. If you're Florida, just sit down, guard, defensive rebound, and go make a basket and punch your ticket. Cavell Bigby Williams, watch him kind of bail out. He may bail out of that screen. Good job. You got Kavarius Hayes now on Tremont Waters.
Skylar Mays way short. Hayes with a rebound and a chance for Florida.
I would be shocked if Mike did not call a timeout. I know he has them. You got to do it. Yeah,
Yep.
you got nothing in the open floor. Initially, as a coach, you want to see if you've got something. Mike wants to draw this up. Ravi, that was an impressive defensive possession by the Gators, and most especially Kavarius Hayes. Just got his 14th rebound. Did a good job of containing Tremont Waters off that ball screen switch. And as a coach, it's a stressful way to make a living. Ooh, but this is what it's all about, brother.
Well, the way
it's all about.
With no doubt, Will Wade described this group of Gators. They're gritty, they're grimy, they're tough, and they have been that way tonight. And they throw you out of rhythm. There have been times when LSU's been in rhythm, and there's certainly been times where they haven't been. The guy that has been in rhythm the most tonight is Jalen Hudson, 33 points. We got a little Tom Petty going on here at the O'Connell Center.
I won't back down.
Appropriate.
I thought you would chime in on the chorus right there.
Everyone else did.
There is no easy way out. Isn't that the truth?
Yeah, there is no easy way out.
There is no easy way out. If I'm Mike White, then I'm going to go high ball screen with Nembhard early, or you've got to make sure 3 touches it. Jalen Hudson has been your guy all night. You would hope Nembhard high ball screen, Jalen Hudson, something going to the basket.
Senior from Richmond, Virginia, number 3 with 33, has the ball. Drives, falls.
Got to shoot
Kayvon
it.
Allen
Not going to get a shot. Didn't get it off.
didn't get it off, and LSU will win it.
Wow.
Jalen Hudson couldn't keep his feet. He fell, and that blew the play up. And LSU stays at 15-2 in a tie with Tennessee and a home date with Vanderbilt to clinch the 1 seed and an SEC championship.
They were obviously going to Hudson. Their guy couldn't quite get it done.
For Andy Kennedy and our entire crew here and in Bristol, I'm Carl Ravitch. The final score 79-78. Oklahoma State and Baylor continues on ESPN2.